What's the dumbest thing someone has said to you? 1. After giving a coworker an aspirin, she came to me some time later and said the medicine was useless because the pain had gone away on its own. 2. Once, I had a friend who bet me $20 that a stop sign had 6 sides. 3 months later, we were reminiscing, and he remembered it incorrectly, betting another $20 that a stop sign had 6 sides, and lost again. 3. I am a veterinarian. My cousin is a child psychologist. Her exact words were, "You just don't know what it's like when your patient can't tell you what is wrong." 4. I was at a register, and the cashier was flirting with me. He asked where I was from, and I said, "England." He then asked, "Oh, what language do they speak there?" I replied, "English." The guy behind me in the queue burst out laughing. 5. In an office that was low on paper, someone suggested, just put a blank page in the copier and make more. 6. How do they put the lines inside the oranges in the factory? You know, the ones that make them easy to separate into slices? 7. I worked in a bank, and someone came in trying to cash a check for their grandfather, who was in the hospital. I explained that we couldn't cash it without the grandfather being present, as the check was made out to him. The person then picked up a dog and said, "I have his permission to cash the check. See? This is his dog." I was at a loss for words. I tried to keep a straight face as I explained that a dog was not a valid form of identification. 8. I was in a long-term relationship, and we were thousands of miles apart. I thought it would be romantic to say, "If we both look up right now, we can see the moon together." She asked, "Are you sure we're looking at the same moon?" 9. I had a professor in college who watched Pirates of the Caribbean once and became convinced that the word parlay meant guidelines. Instead of giving us the guidelines for the class, she handed us a list of parlays that we were expected to follow. 10. I was working in retail, counting down my drawer and ensuring the cash total matched the receipts. I came across an unbelievably shiny penny. Someone had either just gotten it from the bank or broken it out of a collector's set, realizing that a penny is unlikely to become more valuable in their lifetime. I held it up to my assistant manager and said, "Wow, what a shiny penny." She responded with, "Oh my God, do you think it's counterfeit? Why would anyone go through the trouble and expense of counterfeiting a penny? At most, after all the effort, you'd still only have a penny." 11. The day after giving birth to my second child in less than a year and a half, my mother-in-law told me, "You're not a real mom if you're only going to have 2 kids." This came from a woman who didn't raise any of her 6 children and left them with a man who wasn't even biologically related to half of them. 12. My ex's mom came over for supper for the first time at my house. I'm a widow, and she was asking questions about my late husband. At one point, she asked about the funeral. She's a harmless, sweet lady who doesn't always pick up on social cues, but I genuinely liked her. I mentioned that my husband had been cremated and that his ashes, along with our cat's ashes, were kept in a cabinet. She walked over to the cabinet, looked at the 2 urns, one smaller with paw prints, and asked, "Which one is your husband?"